Hey, hey, hey. You know what day it is. What day is it? It's Tuesday Tea with D. Come on, Tuesday Tea with D. Come on, Tuesday Tea with D. Come on, Tuesday Tea with D. It's Tuesday Tea with D. You know, Tuesday Tea with D. You know, Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Hey, boo, hey. It's your girl, your personal life coach, Detra Trueheart, your life purpose generator, purpose provoker. And here, listen, every single week to help you get out of your own way with a weekly dose and serving of Tuesday Tea with D. And so I'm sure you can hear the nasaliness in my throat and in my voice. And so I've got some cough drops here. Of course, you know, I've got the tea, right? We've got the tea here. And I'm not sick. It's my sinuses. And so if you've been rocking with me for any amount of time, child, you know me and these sinuses, child, we be button heads. You know what I'm saying? And can I just say, like, if you think about COVID, like I just want to mention COVID really quickly, probably one of the only benefits, and I'm sure there were other benefits, I'm not going to say the only, but one of the major benefits for me was that I literally did not suffer with my sinuses and my allergies for like 3 years. Like, this is the first year since COVID, since before COVID, that I have had the scratchy throat, the stuffy nose, the itchy eyes, all of the hay fever, allergy things, because I'm allergic to all the things, the grass, the dust, the ragweed, all of it, right? Anything outside, child, the pollen, honey, like, listen, it's trying to come and get me. So y'all just keep your girl in prayer. I am going to try to pace myself today, even though I'm excited about the conversation that we are going to have today around time and where did it go, because we are now in the 6th month of 2023 and literally closing out the first half of this year in a little bit more than like 20 days or so, right? A little bit more than that, like 25 plus days. We've just started June. At the time of this recording, it is June 2023. And so, yes. So like I said, I'm going to try to pace myself. I'm going to try to like slow down a little bit just to make sure that I am not causing myself to cough, or, you know, making sure like my nose is not running and all the things. Cause y'all know, child, y'all was there with the morning life scopes, honey. If the nose was running, we gonna blow the nose, because we can't have that on video. But I'm excited to be here just to have this conversation with you. And so before we move forward, I just want to say thank you again for joining me. Make sure you're subscribing to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're following me on all of the social media outlets and social pages and all the things. Make sure you're sharing the videos every week. Pick 1 or 2 people to share this video with, specifically on YouTube. You can take the link. They don't have to be on YouTube in order to view the video, or to access the video, I should say. And so send them the video. Tell them like, hey, check this out. You need to subscribe to the YouTube channel. She's serving good tea, weekly tea every single week, helping you to get out of your own way so that you can stop settling and show up for yourself in the same way that you show up for others. And then also make sure that you comment below to let me know what you think. Like, what spoke to you? What are you going to do as a result of each week's weekly tea dose, or serving? Like, I want to know, right? So subscribe, like, comment, and then obviously share. So this week's tea, as you can probably, maybe you may not guess, or you may, is brought to you by the Get Your Time Back Masterclass with yours truly, me. Time hacks for the busy, overcommitted, and overwhelmed woman. And this specifically is a 90-minute interactive workshop where, if you're feeling like, you know, and we're going to talk about this today, you know, you're not making the most of your time. You don't really know where your time is going. Like, you look up and you're like, man, like, where did the time go? Or, you know, you're not creating the type of boundaries that you need to be creating in order to be able to access the time that you need and to be able to do the things that are most important to you I really want to invite you to join me next Monday, June 12th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm bringing this back, and I felt like this was a good time to do it because it's mid-year. And so you get a chance to reevaluate like what's working, what's not working, where has your time been going, who and what have you been giving your time to? And then, what are some strategies that you can be using in order to get your time back, right? Like December will be here before we know it, specifically because iSpeaklife Live, which is my 3-day live event for busy and overwhelmed women, right? It's the opportunity for you, those of you who pour into others, to be poured back into. And so be on the lookout because early bird registration is going to be opening soon. And so if you're not on my email list, you want to get on my email list because, honey, it's going to be fire. But the time hacks, and let me just say this also about the Get Your Time Back Masterclass. And I'm going to put this up just so you can register if you're interested. You can go to TrueheartSpeaks.com/Get Your Time Back. But what I'm teaching in this masterclass, I only teach at my live event and when applicable to my private coaching clients. This is not something I just kind of share. So people who get an opportunity to get in on this workshop actually get exclusive content, exclusive insight, exclusive strategy that I only share at my live event and with private coaching clients. And so if you're not there, then you miss out, child, and you're trying to figure out where did the time go, right? So again, go to TrueheartSpeaks.com/Get Your Time Back. Masterclass is $97. You'll get access to a replay for a limited time. And I think that that's about it. There's some other things, but you can go to the website to check it out, right? So let's talk today about today's conversation around where'd the time go, right? And so there is this conversation is too, oh, wait, how come y'all didn't tell me? I know, because y'all are not here, honey. The tea, right? And so as you can see, I'm drinking a loose tea today. I have my little tea thingy in here. I don't know what to call it, but it's a tea infuser. And so the tea is actually in here. And so I can take this out. I'm just going to show you so that I don't spill it. And then you put that there. But the tea, see that? All right. The tea is in here. And so today's tea is the ginger. I just forgot. I think it's the ginger turmeric, ginger honey white tea. Either ginger turmeric. I think there's turmeric in here. Ginger turmeric white tea. I think. I meant to remember and then I forgot. But it's good. And today's tea was a little intentional because I'm hoping that maybe this will help with my throat. Because my throat is always itchy, I'm either always drinking something warm or something cold just to kind of soothe it. And so I'm hoping that the ginger will help to soothe my throat as I'm talking, but even throughout the day to hit, just to help with my allergies as I have some other things that I have to do. So where did the time go? Honey, I don't know. Do you know where the time went? I mean, when we think about it, the time has gone by extremely fast. Obviously, we are into the 6th month of 2023. And today's conversation, I think, first of all, I want to say, like, let's take a couple of deep breaths because it's like, woosah. First of all, we made it. But second of all, where did the time go? And third of all, like, let's regroup and kind of figure out what we need to be doing to either get back on track or stay on track for the rest of the year, right? So okay. Set the tone. We're in a space of reflection. And my first question to you is, has this year, or even just the first part of the year, been everything that you wanted it to be? When you think back to January 1st, December 31st, Happy New Year time, even transitioning from December into January, you're like, January 2023 is going to be my year. Like, I got like all of this stuff that's going to be happening, blah, 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 blah. So I want you to take some time. And so if you don't know, if this is your first time joining me for Tuesday Tea with D, I'm going to tell you to go get a journal, go get a pen. And once you have watched the full video, come back, write the questions down, and take some time during, whatever time you need, lunch break, coffee break, whatever. and process these questions, I'm always giving journal prompts and things to think about because that's what I do as your coach, right? And so, how has the first half of the year been, considering everything that you said you wanted to do at the beginning of the year? How has it been? Like, again, was it fabulous? Was it okay? Could it be a little bit better? It was great, but you want to do even better. It wasn't what you thought it would be, and you hoping the rest of the year is not, what happened the first half of the year. Like, take some time to process that. Like, don't just let it, like, don't sweep it under the rug and act like it didn't happen, right? And the other thing is celebrate regardless, right? You made it. We're here. It's the halfway point. Let's celebrate that, right? We didn't give up. We endured, we persevered, like we made it through hell and high water, if that's you. And so depending upon where you are, take some time just to sit in gratitude for that. But not only, has the first year been everything that you said it would be, but has it been everything that you wanted it to be? And a lot of times for many of us, the answer might be no. Like, and then for some of us, it could be like, yes, like it's that and then some, right? And I would even venture, and this is not in my notes, but to ask you, because sometimes I think, and we've either seen it or heard other people say it, but like sometimes you're in the very space that you prayed for. And because there's so much lifing and happening, that you don't get a chance to sit and say, man, Lord, like, despite everything that's going on, like where I am is literally where I prayed to be. What I'm experiencing is what I have had conversation with you about. And I'm grateful that I actually get a chance to experience that. And so this is where we really sit down and really just kind of, reflect. Like, let's not speed through June into July and not reflect on these first. And granted, June is not over, but even still, like at this point, we should be starting to reflect on the beginning of the year as we transition into the second half of the year. Okay. When you look back, what did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about others? What did you learn about God? I think we tend to ask all the questions around like, well, what did you learn about yourself? What did you find, that was most intriguing or something that maybe you didn't know? But I'd like to know what you learned about others and then also what you learned about God. Did you learn that he's a healer? Did you learn that he's a provider? Did you learn that he'll never leave you nor forsake you? Did you learn that he is a God of his word, that his word never returns void? Like, did you learn that you can do hard things with him, that sometimes he doesn't lift the burden, but he carries it right with you? Like, what did you learn about him these past 6 months, right? Sometimes it's like, man, like I learned that, like, child, he ain't always gonna rescue me out of the stuff that I be wanting him to rescue me out of. Sometimes he's, this right here, I'm being stretched beyond what I thought I could ever be stretched with, but I made it, and that I endured, and that I'm stronger and I'm smarter, I'm wiser, that my discernment is even stronger. Like the level of discernment is so high, like I can sense all the things. And so, like, and some of it is that, what I learned about God is that, and myself, is that I need to spend more time with him. I need to make sure that he's at the forefront of what I do and how I do it and who I interact with. And so again, what did you learn about when you look back? What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about others? What did you learn about God? Take some time to really answer these questions, right? And I think it's also important to, if there's some things that you've forgotten about, ask God to remind you of the experiences that you've had this year. And we're going to transition into conversation around time, but this is also why it's important for you to be reflecting and documenting like what you're doing each week and what you're doing with your time. Because I get it. Sometimes the days fly by, and we're doing all the things for all the people, and sometimes even including ourselves. And so we forget some of the stuff that we've experienced, because child, by the time we get from February to May and May to June, June to August, like we skipping months, and it's like, oh shoot, wait, I forgot that I got to do this, or I got to experience this, or I got to spend time with some of my favorite people, or I got to try like a really new meal, or I traveled, and whatever it is, ask him to remind you of those experiences. And then also go back and look at your schedule and your planner, and think about, like, okay, what were some of the good points, right? What were some of the bad points? What are some of the things that I need to improve upon? There's the cough. And so when you think about all of that, I want you also to think about your time, how you spent your time, right? How did you spend your time? Did you have, have good thoughts about like how you spent your time? Or do you have like negative thoughts or not so good thoughts, or maybe in between thoughts, right? I mean, this is personal, so you don't technically have to share it with anyone, but what are the thoughts around how you spent your time? Do you feel like you could have done a better job with how you spent your time, how you used your time? One of the things that I think is important for us to remember, even for myself, is that in many times we can make more money, we can't make more time. And so the time that we spend today, we don't get tomorrow. However, if I don't make any money today, I do have an opportunity to make money tomorrow, right? And I could, and in essence, make tomorrow what I didn't make today in addition to tomorrow. I could double that. We can't do that with time. And one of the things that I noticed about my tribe, right, and some of the hindrances to just getting out of your own way really is how you're spending your time. How are you spending time with yourself? How are you spending time with God? How are you spending time with others? What does that look like, right? And so as I close this out, I want to leave you with 3 things that I feel like are hindrances to why you can't get out of your way as it relates to time, right? And the biggest one I would say is that, you're just not making the most of your time, right? When I have private coaching clients, and even some of the ladies who are in my inner circle or my group community coaching experience, the incubator, one of the things that I may ask is, with everything that they have going on, I'll say, like, what are you doing with your time? Where's your time going? Let's look at your time, right? Let's time block, right? And in doing that, sometimes, most of the time, they're realizing that they have more time than they thought. It's what they're doing with the time, right? Who they're spending their time with, right? And so not only is it, you not making the best of the time that you have, and I would ask you that question, like, did you make the best of the time that you had over these past 6 months? 5 months plus 6 days, right? Did you make the best of the time? And here's the thing, this is not about shaming. This is not about judging. This is really just about assessing, if you're not where you want to be, what tweaks and improvements need to be made so that you can get to where you want to be. And so we got to remember that this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And so it's not about who can get there the fastest, because everybody's journey is different. But did you make the best use of your time? Right? And in making the best use of your time, one of the other hindrances is not really knowing where your time goes. And so, do you know where your time goes each week, month, and quarter? What are you doing this week? What are you doing this month? What are you doing this quarter? Like, where is your time going? Where is it being allocated? Do you have time for you? I know you have time for others. And have you allocated time for God, right? And then even in your time, there's active time, but then there's rest time, there's Sabbath time, there's quiet time, there's thinking time. And so what does that look like for you? What does quality time with yourself look like? And is that on your schedule? Is that a part of how you look at utilizing your time? These are all things that we're going to talk about at the Get Your Time Back Masterclass. And so the last hindrance that I will share is that you're not creating boundaries around who gets access to you and how at the most important or valuable times of your day or even in your life, right? And so again, do you have boundaries set up to protect your peace, to protect your time, to protect your life, to even protect those moments? There's certain moments, right? And so for me, it's not a solid thing on the schedule, but a lot of times Fridays is family time for me and my son. And so we will maybe go to the movies, or we'll watch a movie, or different things like that. And so boundaries around that means that unless, there's something going on. So like every third Friday is our women's ministry at church. And so that Friday I do go and have girlfriend time at church. But outside of that, like there's certain days that we spend time together and it's off limits. And so what do those boundaries look like for you? Right? Do you have boundaries set up to protect your peace and your time? And if not, this may be why you look up and wonder, where has the time gone? Right? And so you want to think about those things. You want to take some time to not only reflect on your experiences, but you really want to look at like how you have been spending your time, what you have been doing with your time. And there, and I know we hear it said all the time, but we really all do get the same 24 hours in a day, and how we spend it and how we use it, how we allocate it really matters. And so you may not have the same resource. Like I saw a lot of people will say, oh, well, you get the same 24 hours as Oprah. Well, Oprah has a lot of money to be able to delegate a lot of things that some people are not in a position to delegate. And so, yes, she's got 24 hours, but she also has money to be able to pay people to do things during those 24 hours to free her up. That's a conversation that we'll have and Get Your Time Back. But there are other ways that you can create boundaries around how, what you're doing with your time and how you're spending with your time and who you're spending your time with. And so I want you to think about that as we are moving through this 6th month of this year, and think also about what you want the rest of the year to look like, because you get to decide that. And so if you want things to be different, they can. If you want more peace, what does that look like? If you want to be more intentional about the boundaries that you create, what does that look like? Right? And so I want to encourage you, probably need another cough drop, but I want to encourage you to be reflective. And I had this conversation about a couple months ago with my inner circle, because we do a monthly co-working session, and the first like 30 minutes is reflection time. And it's really like the mid 30 minutes. So I would do an overview, and it's a couple things that happen, but the co-working is really about them taking time to reflect on their month, taking time to reflect on the old month, the new month, what needs to happen, what gaps need to be filled in, and really also just thinking about how they want to show up for themselves in the upcoming month. And for many of us, it has not been modeled, nor has it been taught the importance of, and this is something that I actually taught in my Pause Masterclass, is making time to get quiet, making time to think, making time to process, making time to kind of sit quiet, long enough to let the reflection kind of come to you, right? We're so on the go and so impatient that sitting longer than a minute or 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes is like, okay, this is a waste of my time. I need to be doing something. And the one thing that you actually need to be doing is sitting down, getting quiet, processing, looking at how you're spending your time, even how you need to, like, maybe this year was amazing, but you're like, I think there's some things that I still need to tweak, because in order for me to maintain this, I've got to do X, Y, and Z. That's why quiet time and reflection time is so important. And so we're going to talk about that at the Get Your Time Back Masterclass. And so I'd love for you to join me next Monday. And so even if you can't join me, get the replay, right? Sign up and you'll get the replay for a limited time, limited access for a limited time. And you can watch it and go through the exercises. And the best part about what I teach is I teach you things that not only I've done and am doing, but things that you can actually implement like once it's done. Right? You can go back to the video and you can implement their things that they're simple, they're strategic, but it's not something that like you're like, shoot, like I need to, and you may need more support in an area outside of that. And we can talk about that next week when you come. But I want you to be in reflection around where the time go over these last 5 months, and even just like thinking about like where do you want the time to go for this month as you transition into month 6, into month 7 for the second half of 2023. So this may have been a little bit longer than normal, but I really wanted to kind of take my time, for one, because I feel like if I had been talking too fast, I would have been coughing a lot more. And so I wanted to kind of, ease into it. And so with that being said, I'm going to pull this up and I'm going to show you the flyer again so that you have the details. I'm going to put the banner up so that you can register. Go to TrueheartSpeaks.com/get your time back. TrueheartSpeaks.com/get your time back in order to register. It's $97. And even if, I think the best part about this training is that even if you had not been a part of this, or if you've done it before, it's always a great refresher to come back to make sure that there isn't anything that maybe you have, like, you overlooked or you negated or neglected. And you're like, man, I forgot about that. Like, I need to go back to that. Right. So I pray that this will be a good time of reflection for you based around the conversation we've had today. I pray that you will be intentional about your time. I pray that you will be intentional about who you spend your time with, about, who you let kind of ambush your time. Because some people will try to come in and just take it. And it's like, no, no, no. And I hope that you will also be intentional just about reflection, that it is okay to sit yourself down. It is okay to make sure that, you are away from distractions and you can have some quiet time, really just to reflect, like not only on your time, but on yourself in general, right? And just going back to the questions that I asked in the beginning, how has the first half of the year been everything that you said it would be? Has it been everything that you wanted it to be? What are you grateful for? So taking some time to sit in gratitude. When you look back at what you did, when you look back, what did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about others? And what did you learn about God? Right. And you want to ask God to remind you of anything that you experienced that maybe you didn't write about, or maybe you have forgotten. Right. And then you want to transition into your time. Right. And making sure that you evaluate if you made the best use of your time. You looked at, where your time went weekly, monthly, and quarterly. And then also around boundaries, right? Do you have boundaries set up to protect your time, your peace, your life, the things that are important to you, right? So, so that's that. And so I hope this was good for you. I hope that you got a good serving of tea today, and make sure you share this. Make sure you, again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're inviting people to join the subscribers. I shouldn't say join, but subscribe, and make sure you're liking, commenting, and sharing. And so with that being said, thank you for joining me this week on Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. See you next time.